Okay, you are not going to believe the level of petty revenge I witnessed. This is about a landscaper, a difficult HOA president, comma. This all went down in a fancy suburban neighborhood in Phoenix, Arizona, comma. I used to work in landscaping, and we got a call from the HOA president of this exclusive community. Let's call her Brenda. Of course. Brenda was infamous among local contractors for being a nightmare client demanding, impossible to please, comma. My coworker Dave was the lead designer and he poured his heart into this project. Brenda was extremely specific, comma. She wanted a Mediterranean oasis with certain plants, a specific color of gravel, and even dictated the exact placement of every single garden gnome. Dave followed her instructions to the letter, comma. The garden was built exactly as she approved it, comma. We finished the job and submitted the final invoice. That's when Brenda, predictably, refused to pay, comma. She claimed the garden didn't comply with HOA rules. She said the purple bougainvillea was too vibrant and the terracotta pots were too rustic, even though she had picked every single one of those elements from the approved list. Our boss tried to reason with her, showing her the signed plans, but Brenda just dug in her heels, saying she changed her mind, comma. She refused to pay a single cent and threatened to report us to the HOA board, which she led. Dave, who is usually the calmest guy, was absolutely fuming. He had worked his butt off for months, and she was just trying to strong-arm us out of payment, comma. Instead of going to court, Dave came up with a genius plan. He knew the HOA rules better than Brenda did, comma. He knew they had strict guidelines about front yard maintenance and curb appeal, but the backyard where the disputed Mediterranean oasis was had far fewer rules. So, Dave waited, comma. He waited a few months until the heat of summer was truly unbearable in Arizona. Then, under the cover of darkness, he went back to Brenda's house. He didn't touch her backyard. Instead, he went to her front yard, comma, and he planted hundreds of the fastest growing, most unruly and HOA non-compliant desert weeds he could find. We are talking tumbleweeds in training, thorny bushes, and plants that spread like wildfire, comma, all legally purchased and carefully planted, comma. Within weeks, Brenda's perfectly manicured front yard was a wild, overgrown jungle, comma. It completely violated every single HOA rule she had ever enforced. She couldn't complain to the HOA because she was the HOA. She had to pay us for our original work to get the money to pay someone else to clear out her illegal front yard, which became a running joke. She eventually moved out, unable to stand the irony. So yeah, that's the story of how a landscaper got the most satisfying revenge on an HOA. Karen, it taught me that sometimes the best way to fight back isn't with anger, but with a little bit of creative and strategic chaos, comma. Have you ever seen someone get their just payback in a truly epic way? Tell me your stories in the comments.